should be on.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, we've got a signal. Okay, okay, start, take two. My name is Ben. This is Cluj Game Jam 2025. I am delighted to welcome everybody here present at Rebel Dot offices in Cluj. I'm also delighted to welcome everybody who's a participant who's on the live stream, and maybe we'll get a count of that in a minute and someone can shout it out. I'm also delighted to welcome all the mentors, many of whom are standing by, and one of whom, Ronnie, is present, who's going to talk in a minute, wherever Ronnie is. There he is, right in the front there. And I'm delighted to welcome the whole team here, and they're all going to introduce themselves over time. So what are we going to go through today? The first thing we're going to go through is we're going to go through the format, the milestones and the tips. Adrian's going to take you through that in a second. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to do mentor introductions. And like I said, we've got some mentors standing by, some amazing mentors from some of those popular games in the world, AAA and mobile casual gaming from all over Europe. But many from Romania as well, and the Romanian diaspora. Then we're going to have some core game loops that we're going to show you. So the idea of the jam is we want the most creative and engaging games to come out of this by next Saturday, to be in with a chance of winning one of the 5,000 euros prize pool. So I'm going to show you some core loops that you're all going to know, just as inspiration. For how we, what the highest possible bar of core loops are. Then we're going to reveal the theme. And I think we might have Craig talk a little bit about the theme, which we think is quite an interesting theme and is going to fire everybody's imagination. And then there are going to be FAQs at the end. We want to end and start the jam at 15:35 today. So we'll start the FAQs, soon after 3 o'clock. That means you can speak to us, the organizers. You can speak to the mentors and any questions you want, both within the room and obviously to the live stream as well. Live stream questions obviously post on Ask the Organizers in the Discord channel. And with that, we're going to hand over to Adrian, who's going to talk about the actual format, the milestones, the tips on how you might go about hacking in the week, and how you should treat your mentors. Okay, Adrian, please.
Hello everyone, and thank you, Ben, for the introduction. I will skip any further introductions from my side because I know that you are all super eager to learn about the team. And I don't want to spoil the later mentor introduction as well. Going forward to the track one, starting from scratch, you will be designing a 90 seconds game loop, which will be judged based on fun, replayability, and overall level of polish. This means that you should be careful on scoping your ambition, leave a lot of time for fixing the bugs, polishing the final game content. Don't just allocate time for development and features, as well as prioritize one good level rather than 100 rough sketches. It will always beat the amount of content that it doesn't have any substance. Also, on the second day, if you realize that it's not fun, pivot. Don't stick to an idea that you as the team don't find fun just because you think it might be fun. And finally, take care of your health. Please sleep 8 hours a day. You are running a marathon, not a sprint. Don't abuse coffee, energy drinks, or any other substances. Take care of yourself. Next, we'll have guidance for how the week might look for you. You don't have to follow this format. It's just something that you may look over and see, am I on the right track? Starting today at the kickoff, assign roles among the team, brainstorm your core game loop. Starting tomorrow, document your main game idea, concept, make it fun on paper, because if It's not going to be fun on paper, it's not going to be fun on screen, so don't try to make it on screen if it doesn't work on paper. After that, you will be working on locking down all the features, as in scope and the amount of content that you want. After that, you will be doing the RPass and the QAPass to make sure that everything is working and looks as intended. Finally, on the last day, you will be locking your executable, build, content, etc., and publishing on itch.io. Make sure that you share it amongst friends and family to make sure that you get as many people voting on the games that have been published, including yours. Next, I'm going to go over how to pick a mentor, which I divided in 3 types of mentors: the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good mentor is the mentor that is mostly aligned to your skill sets and is able to mostly understand you just straight on. You don't have to wrap your idea in any fancy way for him. You'll just give it a rough idea and just know it. He's also the mentor that will be able to give you pitfalls, guidance, and probably will be the most excited about what you are building. Next, we have the bad mentor, which is not bad because he's bad. He is bad because he is in a direct polar opposite with you and your skills, which means that he's able to fill in the gaps. So you are ensuring that your game and product ultimately is approached from every single angle. He's most likely going to ask questions that you won't be able to respond because it's not your specialized department, but it's still a required mentor to go through. And finally, the ugly mentor is the mentor that you didn't plan to speak to, and is most likely a mentor that another mentor told you to speak with. He's going to appear when things are going to through a little bit chaotic, when you didn't plan properly, when you have gaps that another mentor noticed. Now I'm going to pass it back to Ben for the elemental introductions.
Thanks, Adrian. I hope that's all clear, but there's FAQs, as I said, in about 40 minutes. So next slide is mentors. We talked about mentors earlier on. We've got 10 amazing mentors here. Ronnie on site from Gameloft. We got Radu, who runs Ubisoft Romania, and he's not on site at the moment. He's just traveling. We got Julian from AMC. And we'll go through all the rest of them. I think the first one we've got up actually is Emil. And I think the plan right now, Craig, is to bring Emil on because he has a few slides.
Yep, we're going to bring him on right now. Give me a sec.
I'm going to let Emil introduce himself because he works in a very cool studio.
Hello, Emil. Oh. There we go. I can hear you. 1 second.
Let me turn on my camera.
Perfect. I don't know if the rest of the room can hear you, but we can hear you. Hello.
Hello. There's some echo. Hi, my name is Emil.
Can I hear Emil?
I don't know that you guys can hear me or I'll hear Emil.
Very odd. All right, good. So again, my name is Emil. I play games for a living. I'm originally from Cluj-Napoca. I turned Viking now for 8 years, living in Denmark and working for Saibo. Saibo is the maker of Subway Surfers, the most downloaded game in history. We're having a blast continuing the Subway Surfer IP in my team. And I can help you to organize yourselves in early stages, but also later on, especially on your QA paths, because I'm a tester by profession. I love to investigate issues and try to get to the root cause of them. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Back to me, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so everybody in the live stream would have heard Emil, but I think it was obvious, right, what he was saying, right? I think we all got the gist of it, right? So thanks for that. Now we're going to go through the other mentors. I think what we should probably do is start with Ronnie. Well, let's see what the order is here, actually. And then we'll see when Ronnie comes in. So we're just going to go to the first slide here. Yeah, so just start with Bogdan. So Bogdan, as I mentioned, is founder of a studio called Silly Paper in Bucharest, but he was one of the first employees at Ubisoft in Romania. He has some amazing stories about how Ubisoft came to Romania. Yes.
He's also in the chat right now, ready to talk.
He's in the chat, he's ready to talk, so here he is. Over to you, Bogdan.
How you doing, Bogdan? Oh. Let's try that again. Bogdan, hello.
Hey,
There we go.
can you hear me, see me, stuff
Yes,
like that?
we got you.
Fantastic. We have officially defeated technology. Okay. So I'm Bogdan. I've been in the gaming industry for 23 years now. I started as a producer. I was studio manager for a few studios. I set up a few studios around Eastern Europe. And I was also studio manager for Game of Bucharest for a while, and now I'm an entrepreneur. My claim to fame, or my value that I guess I can bring to you guys, is that I'm first and foremost a product guy. So I'm not a business guy. I'm not an accountant, a CFO, whatever. I'm a product guy. I did anything you can imagine in product development, from making levels to game design to producing stuff, charts, Gantt, and so on. So I made games. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, some were successful, some were very successful. So I think I can tell you interesting stuff from my own experience about what it is to make games. So that's my claim to fame, and hopefully something that I can bring to the teams that are interested in having a chat about it. That's it, really.
Great. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, next up. Ronnie, here we go. He's here. Welcome, Ronnie. Microphone. So I need to give you the microphone, and this
because of the stream, right?
Yeah, and this is a magnet, so I need to actually place it upon you. There we go.
Hey, delighted that Cluj Game Jam exists. Delighted because people are interested in games. Games were always my savior and my downfall at the same time, I guess. Most of you went through tough moments when games were your savior. An amen for that? Slow crowd. Okay, fair. This was a theme that followed me through my life because I've always made a living through and by games. At one moment I was a fairly competitive StarCraft player that didn't pay very well. And then I started making games, first serious games for non-video gaming. And that was an interesting experience because I learned that no matter what you do, the things that you make have to be really, really fun. And I think that's what you guys should be focusing on this week. Just make something that is crazy, crazy fun. Obviously, polish is important, yes. But if it's not fun, just throw it out the window, start from scratch. Don't get attached to any one idea. Just kill that butterfly, that beautiful thing that you imagined your game is going to be. Just kill it, and don't get attached to one idea. Just go through phases until you find something that's really, really fun. As somebody who is very interested on the technical aspects of fun, if you have questions, I would be delighted to answer them at any time. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up is Adrian, who you heard from before, but I think Adrian should come back up again and just say, this is what I do in the gaming world and this is how I can help.
Hello everyone again, I'm Adrian, as you might already know. Is the mic okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been working professionally in the game industry for the past 7 years. if you ever played Asphalt 9 on Nintendo Switch, maybe used Unreal Engine, Twinmotion, or watched The Mandalorian, you just used a bit of piece of code that I wrote. So, thank you.
Thank you, Adrian. Who's next? Okay, Craig, here we go.
Hey,
Craig
all right.
is here as well. He's also a distinguished game designer, so he can tell you what he's done and how he can help you.
Sure. Can you hand me the mic? I've got 2 mics now. Wow. Hi, my name is Craig Hauser. I was the level and combat designer on Trinity Fusion by Angry Mob Games. I also helped out with a little bit with Brawlout. And yeah, I've been living in Cluj for a while now. I am very excited. I'm mostly focused on things like, you know, how game feel, player feedback, making sure that the reward is correct based on, like, if your game's more action oriented, I would be someone that you might want to talk to. I do a lot of work on just tweaking game balancing and just building the tools that your players are going to engage in the game with, and then building a fun sandbox for them to explore the depth of those tools with.
May I ask you something?
Yo, what's up?
You have a really fluent and confident speaking. Are you a YouTuber in case?
No, but I do stream.
No. Okay.
I'm just gonna put this. Yeah, you can go ahead and hold that.
Awesome, thank you, Craig. So who is next?
I'm also running the live stream.
Yeah, he's also bossing the live stream, so, you know, he's got a job on his hands. Also, Alex, we have here today. Alex is a world-class illustrator. His art is amazing. I would definitely check out his portfolio. Coming up, Alex.
Well, hi there. I'm Alex. I'm a 2D senior artist and here to help you out. If you encounter any problems, with visual problems with your game, I'm the guy. So, nice to meet you all.
Thanks, Alex. I think that's all the mentors who are actually physically present today. So who is next? Aaron. Okay, so Aaron was actually product lead for Ubisoft in the UK. It's just totally by chance that, you know, there's a Ubisoft connection. He was also the lead producer on a mobile casual game called Hungry Shark Evolution, which has over 1 billion downloads. I think I mentioned earlier, I think he's at his sister's wedding or something today, but you'll be able to book him in. I'll talk about the booking in a minute when we get to the end of this particular session. And he's a super friendly guy as well. Next is Julian. So Julian runs production operations at Amber out of Bucharest. You're probably all familiar with Amber, and he previously worked at Ubisoft as well. I think he was on his way to Cluj. I'm not quite sure what happened. He might be on the live stream. I'm not sure about that either. But he's also a super experienced guy, over 20 years in the gaming industry, has worked on some major AAA titles and really has solved, you know, all sorts of problems. So again, you know, an amazing mentor for game ideas and polish and all sorts of problems you might encounter troubleshooting. Emil, we've heard from already. And Radu, I've talked about already. So I think we're getting to the end of that. Yeah, Eugen. Okay, so I think Eugen is on the stream. Is that correct? Does he want to come in?
Yep, he's here. I'm gonna pull him in right now.
Okay, if we don't have volume, I'm going to tell you all about Eugen.
Hey, hey.
Hey, welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's great.
You are live.
Awesome. It's great to be here. Hi, everyone. I've been in the industry for 13 years now. I started off in QA, went through game design, and then moved to production. And this week, I'll be putting on my game designer / producer in mobile gaming hat to hopefully help you bring to life some incredible experiences. I can't wait for all of you to let loose your creativity and see what you want to bring to the table this week. That's it.
Great, thank you very much.
That's perfect.
We can only hear him.
That's what we wanted.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's the end of that piece. I think the next bit, if we haven't got anyone else, we haven't forgotten anyone else, is the theme reveal. So what's the next slide? Okay, this is that we didn't have the drum roll, but yeah, this is the theme. The theme is flat. So in the spirit of Global Game Jam theme types, it's something that we wanted to have that could fire your imagination, that you could see multiple different executions for. Everybody in this room is going to have a different interpretation of what flat is. And honestly, we cannot wait to see what your interpretations of flat look like. I don't know if you want to add anything, Craig, because this is actually Craig's idea. He should get the credit for this. So do you want to add anything to that, Craig?
Sure, it's just a very open-ended prompt that gives a lot of room for experimentation. So when I think of flat, I think of things like paper. I think of taking things that are flat and doing things with them. I think of taking something that isn't flat and making it flat. I think that it's just ambiguous enough to give people like some fun ideas to work with.
Okay, cool. So next on the agenda, I think I wanted to actually mention some mentor rules. I think we're getting close to the point where we're going to have FAQs. I believe that's the correct order of play. But some mentor rules, right? There are 10 mentors. Every mentor has put in an average of 6 to 8 hours. That means there are 80 mentor hours available. Based on the numbers today, I'm thinking there might be about 80 participants, right? But a lot of people are in teams. So if we divide 80 by an average team size of 2.5, somebody who's good at maths is going to say that's 30 something, right? So what that means is everybody should have 2 mentor slots during the week. And then if you get on really well with your mentor, you never know, you might be able to negotiate more slots with your mentor. I can see that happening, right? So we're going to release on the Discord, on the Ask the Organizers channel, in a few minutes, an Excel sheet. This is like an honesty box, right? Because it's an open Excel sheet, nothing's locked in. So we all have to be honest about how we're plugging into each mentor. And you put your team's name, or if you're a solo entrant, your solo name, or if you have a team name for you as a solo, in one box only. And then when we've got all of those out the way, we're going to negotiate how to have the second mentor. Everyone's nodding. Is everyone nodding? Yeah, that's good. No one's like shaking their head and looking like really confused. Now, that was okay. That was straightforward, apart from Craig. But, you can't legislate for Craig. Okay, so those are the rules. And yeah, let's all respect each other and make sure that we're giving everybody a chance to have, a mentor and not, just one mentor slot each. Okay, thank you, everybody. So now it's time for FAQs. I think we have like 15 minutes in the schedule for FAQs. So what we have here is we have obviously Ronnie, we have Alex, we have Adrian, we have Craig. We also have our volunteers. So shout out to Niku, shout out to Darius, a shout out to Sergio, a whole bunch of people, to Carla in the background who've been doing loads of work on this. But when it comes to the actual jam itself and the format, certainly I think Adrian's a key person who can answer questions on it, and Craig. So I want to open up both on the live stream. If you're on the live stream, please ask your questions directly into Ask the Organizers channel on Discord, and also for people who are physically present, if there are any questions.
Can you display maybe a QR code for joining the Discord for those who...
Craig, do you want to handle that one?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
If you can display a QR code to join the Discord server or a link, something.
I don't have a QR code for the Discord server, but I can post a link to it in the Twitch chat right now if you're there, or I can just give you a link in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's just post it to the Twitch channel, then everyone's got it. Okay, cool. Any more questions?
In terms of judgment criteria, how important is if it's an original idea or if it's just fun and replayable and polished? It's fine if it's a clone or...
Okay, I think we've got a minimum of 2 answers here. I'll give it one answer. I'm pretty sure Adrian should give an answer. So you asked original idea. So my view on the world is that there are very, very, very few original ideas. Nearly all ideas come from something existing. So if we look at mobile gaming in 2025, we can see loads of ideas coming in from Steam, for example. And I was just, demoing some core loops, in fact, which I haven't done at all, Craig. So maybe we do that in a second after the FAQs. We were looking at Hole.io, which is a voodoo game that probably everyone's heard of, and I wasn't aware. Craig told me it was based on
Donut Country.
Donut Country. So I think we go back to something I think Ronnie said, which was engagement is really the core thing that we're optimizing against, right? But I want Adrian to give you his point of view as well. So please, Adrian.
Well, my view is quite similar, but it's not us as judges that you have to convince that your idea is unique. Most of the judging criteria are public voted ones on itch.io, and you will be picked as a finalist by the large public, not by ourselves. We are just going to pick the winners. In one of those questions that the public voters will have to vote on is how unique you feel this idea is. So it doesn't have to be the most unique idea in the world, you just have to present a fresh idea to the voter.
All right, we have a question from the Twitch chat. Is there a separation for garage sessions? How is that going to work?
Yes, there is a separation between the garage sessions and the track one session. We don't mix and match them. The garage games are their own category with their own judging process. For people that are doing their games from scratch this week, they will have the public voting criteria plus the manually ranked criteria by the judges.
Also, if anyone has any questions, if you can come over here and say them into the mic so that everyone can hear in the chat. Or for Twitch.
Okay, I also wanted to do a small dive into the judging. So as Adrian has said, and I'm going to call Adrian up here again once he's just sat down, we're using itch. Okay, so I hope everybody's read the guidelines on the Luma and on the emails that have been sent out by Niku, but we're using itch. And the reason we're using itch is that everybody in this room, everybody on the live stream, all their friends and family, you can get votes, right? So as Adrian said, we're going to use those votes as a key judging criteria to get to a shortlist. Plus, we're in touch with Global Game Jam organization, who have a newsletter that goes out to 100,000 jammers. And they're going to send out news of our jam to their 100,000 jammers next Wednesday and ask them to vote on our jam as well, right? So we're not just going to get family and friends, which obviously let's respect family and friends and not try to game it too much. You know, if you happen to have a very large social media profile, please don't put it on your 1 million follower Instagram, right? Because if we see these kind of data disparities, we will look into them. But I'm pretty excited about the fact that we'll have third parties who aren't necessarily connected to the people on the live stream in this room voting, because that's going to give a signal that we would not otherwise get. But when it comes to the actual process of uploading to Twitch, when we want to do that, why we want to do that, maybe, well, actually, definitely, I think it's valuable to have Adrian just explain why we've chosen that model. So Adrian, please come up again.
Well, the answer why we chose each is quite straightforward, because each has already everything that we need built into it. It has years of experience with hosting game jams. It includes all the tools, it includes all the storage, it includes you being able to customize your page. Everything that we as a host and you as a participant want from a game jam is already available on itch.io.
Next question. I thought you had one. All right, we got some questions from the Twitch chat then. Let's see here. Do we need to prepare anything for track 2 apart from the game itself?
Well, I think if we go back to what Adrian just said, it's going to be uploaded to itch. If we go back to what the questioner, sorry, it's not going to be uploaded to itch. And also, if we go back to what our questioner said earlier on about how we're doing judging criteria, and what we're optimizing for is engagement. So that's the main thing to remember, whatever your entry is. And then if you think about what engagement is, we go back to what Ronnie said, which is about being fun. Because, you know, if something is fun, people want to go back to it, want to get engaged. I realize this is stating the obvious, but it's worth stating the obvious here, that this is what we're after. Adrian.
Just to clear things out, itch.io is just for track 1 games. For the garage games, we have 1 week to judge them on, so we will reach out to each one of you. We will need a working build so we can play, have fun with it, be able to record images, videos from it, and then do our judging process.
Okay. Another question from the Twitch chat. If I signed up as needing for help for finding a team, will I be assigned a team?
Niku. Where is Niku? Is he here? He's disappeared. Okay. The answer is absolutely. We'll do that. So we'll do that over the next few hours, and we'll see if we can match you up to somebody else. Certainly that was communicated previously.
Okay. Another question from the Twitch chat. How do we choose who to book in advance, I'm assuming for the mentors, if we don't know our needs yet for track 1?
I think that's an impossible question to answer. Right? Yeah, I think you should ask yourself that question. Sorry, I don't mean to be rude, but unless Adrian has a better idea. Actually, he did actually mention some methods by which you might choose your mentor earlier.
Well, that's why I made. Can you go back to the slide with the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, you got it.
This is the one. So, as I said, pick a mentor that has the same skill set as you, because that's the mentor that can understand you. That's the mentor that will be able to give you some quick pitfalls, be able to fully get your idea just as it is without any more communication. And also pick the mentor that is totally opposed to your skill set. Pick the mentor that has the skill set that you don't have in your team. Other than that, you will find out the ugly mentor later. But just book your first 2 good and bad mentors first.
Okay. Next question comes from Discord. When will the judging of the games start?
Yeah, so the judging of the games is defined from a timing perspective by the deadline. So we're talking about Core Loop from Scratch 90-second track 1, which is the upload to itch, which is 8 p.m. this Friday, the 20th of June. And we'll be judging in 2 blocks, 1 block that evening, and then a second block for several hours from the morning of Saturday, the 21st. And that will get us to a shortlist. And then a combination of the engagement quality plus the voting will allow us to choose amongst that shortlist who's going to drive the prizes, but also, who's going to get acknowledged for, unique submissions and anything else that we feel is worthy of a shout out. And we think with the teams we have and the talent that's coming to the jam, then we'll have quite a lot of probably difficult decision making to make during that period of Friday night and Saturday from the morning to, I think our deadline is going to be 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon on the 21st of June.
Okay, we got quite a few questions that are sort of lining up in the Twitch chat here. Next one, regarding the garage track, my game is a physical tabletop game. I have created the prototype only. I am from Timișoara. How can I send the game to you to test it out? Also, how can I ensure that my idea is not stolen?
Over to you, Adrian.
That was unexpected, and I really love it. Let's get into a call and try to play it over video.
Cool. Next question. If our team is signed up to track 1, but we have a game that we're working on already, can we send it to y'all just to get some expert feedback without participating in track 2? Thank you.
That's an interesting question. Okay, so I think the answer to that is if we have time. Okay, because our first commitment is to all the people who've entered a game specifically for the jam. If we find next Saturday that we have time, or after next Saturday we have time, then I think we'll be able to do that. But I don't think we'll be able to do that in the timetable of the jam itself. So I'm pretty confident that we as a team will look at it and we can give you some feedback. But I don't think it will be wise for us to give you that feedback before the end of the event on the 21st. It might come a few days afterwards.
Cool. Next question. Will judging be live streamed? Live feedback could be quite helpful.
That's a very good question. And the answer is we haven't decided yet. Okay. It depends on a number of factors. So what I'm going to say is we'll kick that down the road. Let's log who asked that question. And then over the coming days, we can get back to that individual on DM or actually publicly on Discord.
All right, another question. If I already have a game concept, which I will integrate with the theme, can I fit it in the 90-second loop?
I would say that's entirely within your own hands. So good luck. If we go back to the other question, I just remember he said, how can I be sure my idea won't be copied? We're not going to copy your idea as the organizers. I think everyone here is in good faith. So I don't think they're going to copy your idea afterwards either. But ultimately, that's a question on, human nature that I can't actually answer. It's more of a conceptual question.
I played a few tabletop games myself, and I can assure the person that the biggest problem...
Yeah.
Okay, we got Ronnie here.
So basically, the biggest problem with the tabletop game isn't actually having a concept, but it's the execution of the concept, which can be quite tedious. For more detailed stuff on this, you can look at how Glass Cannon Unplugged made Frostpunk the board game. And you can just set your mind to ease with that. And another thing is publishing. Publishing a physical game is a very tricky thing, and I don't think anyone who isn't already in this business is going to get into this business because they discovered an interesting idea. So rest assured, it's going to be fine.
That's a perfect answer. Thank you, Ronnie, and I agree completely. Any more questions? I know there's a gentleman here. Yes.
Yeah, it's more of a technical question regarding the from scratch track. How will the final game be tested? Will it be tested on a PC or on a mobile device? I'm not sure of each is.
I know what the answer is, but Adrian can articulate the answer.
Can you repeat the question for everyone who can
Yeah.
see the chat?
So the question is, how are we testing the games during the judging process? Is it going to be on a PC or other platform? Is it going to be mobile? I know the answer, but I think Adrian can articulate the answer better than I can.
So we mentioned a couple of times that the games that we want to see are mobile-like, but they don't have to be exported for mobile. They are mobile at heart, but they have to be playable on Windows or web browsers. So keep that in mind when designing the interfaces, design the core game loop, and designing the overall feel of the game.
All right, next question. Before getting the mentor booking link, can we have some time before the end, or between the end of the live stream and the link being sent, like 15 or 5 to 10 minutes, to be able to make some decisions? I'm sorry, I got some loop back, and this is hard to speak.
Yeah, I actually think that's a fair shout. I was thinking that myself just now, which is it's a lot to take in. There's the theme, there's the mentors. Who are they? Do I want to look them up on LinkedIn or the internet? Yada, yada, yada. Do I want to speak to them? So I think that's absolutely fair. So I think we should embargo it. Let's not decide an amount of time. Let's not say 15 minutes. Once we finish the FAQs, the committee will get together and then we could decide on what we believe is a fair time. Having said that, we could just shout out to the live stream now and we could shout out to Discord instead of us deciding. Anyone who's got an opinion, how much time do we think is a fair time as an embargo before we release the sheet? Shout out or put it on the Discord. No opinions? Or put it on the Discord if you don't want to shout. If we don't get any shouts, we'll decide and we'll tell the Discord. Yeah?
Next question. For track 2, should we also follow the theme or is it optional?
No. There's no theme for track 2 because it's your garage project.
Next question. For track 2, are we allowed to make changes on the game during this week or the game should be judged as it was submitted?
You're allowed to make changes before the deadline.
We're all caught up on questions, actually.
Okay, any more questions from the room? No? So we promised to show you some core loops, but we didn't show you them earlier on because we wanted to take you straight to the mentors. But now we can show you some core loops. And and I'll talk a little bit about why I think they work for inspiration. So this is going to be a few minutes long, and Craig's going to set it up. So we're going to start, obviously, with Subway Surfers. So shout out to Emil. This is one of the most famous core loops in the world. And it's like all these mobile casual games, it's deceptively simple, but what's happening is you are enjoying the physics of the core loop. At the same time, you're being incentivized every few milliseconds to generate coins or special objects. Then another core loop is Coin Master. Don't know if everyone's played Coin Master, but the core loop in Coin Master is slots. And there's the meta narrative and the game progression mechanics, which are about building your own environment. And then you progress through the game using this core loop of slots, and you're earning coins through core loop of slots. And for me, certainly the most enjoyable thing about Coin Master is this next one, which is where you get to attack your villages. So you can play multiplayer with your friends and you can attack their villages. Extremely slick game. If you haven't played it before, makes a lot of money. This one is a classic physics game. It's called Build a Bridge. Some of you might have played this. It's been around for at least 10 years. This is, again, a casual game where you have a bunch of assets of different materials by which you can build a bridge. And obviously it needs to comply with the basic laws of physics, which means the bridge needs to stand up, which means loads of triangles. That's my knowledge of physics. There we go. There's other people who are going to be better at that in the room. That is Build a Bridge. Here's Whiteout Survival, classic 4X game where you are stuck in a hostile environment and you need to effectively build your community against, first of all, very hostile challenges you need to overcome, both from without and from within. It's incredibly well put together and deep in terms of the incentives that drive you through the game itself. And that's by a Chinese developer called Century Games, who's got other 4X games that are hugely, hugely successful. I'm just going to give a couple more. Okay, this is Hexasort. You might have played Hexasort, classic Sort 3 matching game that gets harder and harder as you go up levels. And it is incentivizing you to drive yourselves up those levels, and it's also got a build function as a meta narrative as well, and the game progression is driven through driving harder and harder completion of Hexasort, and you have specific tools that you can earn through coins to be able to get through blockers in the game progression. This one is Flower Sort. So in the last couple of years, you've had this huge explosion in Vietnam of casual games, casual hybrid games, and many of them are sort games, good sort, flower sort, and this is obviously ripping off Playrix and Homescapes, for those who know, or Gardenscapes, and it's literally this simple. It's a super simple core mechanic, and you might think this is really simple, but it's absolutely addictive. These games are making upwards of $100,000 a day. Several $100,000 a day in some cases. This is Royal Kingdom. Royal Kingdom sort of reinvented Match 3. Everybody thought Candy Crush had Match 3 locked, by like 2019, 20. But then a bunch of Turkish guys who used to run Peak Games started a new studio called Dream Games and created this incredibly addictive Royal Match and Royal Kingdom games. And you may have seen them on telly. Now they've got this massive Hollywood-style celebrity campaign for user acquisition. So that's extremely well put together game, both in terms of core mechanic and the meta narrative and all the incentives that drive you through the meta narrative. And the next one, what is the next one? We're coming to it any second now, once we've seen some more Match 3. I think the next one is going to be the last one. Yeah, this is Hill Climb Racing. Anyone familiar with Hill Climb Racing? It's quite an old franchise. It's like over 10 years old. It's made in Helsinki by a publisher called Fingersoft. It has basic gameplay, sort of physics, 2D driving gameplay, and it has an incredibly powerful and deep set of incentives to keep you in the game that effectively allow you to drive better. It's very reliant on some amazing physics and a huge amount of development work gone into the physics, but a very addictive core loop as well. And that's it. There's another one. There's a few others that I would look at. One, I would look at something like I Am Cat, which is a really interesting cat simulation, very amusing, from a German studio that really blew up in the last year as well. But all these casual games that are at the top of the App Store, these are all from puzzle and simulation subgenres. They're all worth having a look at, I believe, if you're a developer, because if you haven't developed hugely in mobile games before, or you're coming from AAA, the amount of effort that goes into these games, they look incredibly simple, but what's happening underneath the hood is incredibly complex. Okay, and that's it from the core loops. So have any more questions come in from the Discord, or has anyone in the room thought of any more questions live that we want to cover before we officially start the jam?
Not really a question, but people want it so that when we do the sign-up sheet, that we have basically everyone's specialty on that, not just their names.
Okay, all right. That's a task for us, which we can do. We have that information. We have Ronnie, we have Adrian, we have Alex, we have Craig. So yeah, we can do that. We have Emil, we have Eugene on the call as well. So shout out to Emil and Eugene if you're listening. Can you just give us like 4 or 5 words on your speciality? That would be really helpful. If you can DM that to Craig, that's probably the best way to do it. So yeah, and then we'll put that into the Excel sheet that is going to be posted on the Ask the Organizers channel of the Discord server in a certain number of minutes to be decided, but certainly within the next hour or so, or 2 hours at the latest.
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense? Yeah? All right, it's a wrap. Thank you everybody on Itch. Thank you everybody on Discord. Thank you for the mentors. Thank you for everybody who came. Thank you.
I don't think we showed the full room before. Here we go. Say hi, everybody. Good luck. Have fun, everyone.